Hey, how you doing? Estou feliz por estar aqui no Brasil. Obrigado, obrigado.
Obrigado, obrigado. Please sit. Yeah.
Oh man, that was amazing. Thank you.
It's a big crowd, huh? I think
Yes.
it has about 10,000 people here.
Love that.
Yeah. So we're welcome.
Thank you.
You fought aliens, robots, zombies, but never a few thousand Brazilian investment advisors. So welcome to the most dangerous room you've ever been.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited.
But here's the thing about this crowd. There are a few thousand people who spend their lives helping others to chase a better future. So this is probably the right crowd for the conversation I want to have with you.
Yes, sir.
Less about the films, more about the man who made them. So let me start all the way back. We just had a warming session
Yes.
a minute before. So you had an incredible career across different areas: music, entertainment, entrepreneurship. So how was that for you? How did you challenge yourself to try a lot of new things and have success in all of them? And what stuck with you through all those different challenges?
Well, I started with music. And I would say that music was, and probably still is, my great love. I love making music. There's nothing like being on stage with 10,000 people and the record hits. So I love music, but I think I'm better at acting. Like, I'm more naturally an actor. And I would say what I discovered is there's a balance that I had to find in my life between what I like doing and what I'm actually really good at. And sometimes people are blessed where the thing they like they're doing, they're actually great at. So for me, trying to find that balance to be able to move back and forth, I love acting. I think I'm naturally an actor, but nothing feels like being on stage with music.
Nice, nice. How was that? How was that move? I mean, did someone present to you the opportunity, or did you seek it, and things were just
I started with music, and it was always stories. So I was always telling stories. Even as a kid, I was making up stories, and my mother always played into that with me. She loved my storytelling. So I would make up stories about all kinds of things. So I think that centrally, I'm a storyteller, and I told stories in music, and then I told stories in television, told stories in cinema, and then started to tell stories in business.
We were just talking about this minutes ago. Storytelling is something that's really important for people, mostly in business, because you have teams you want to engage, you have goals you want to achieve. So how important is storytelling for you? I mean, how do you see that when you produce your movies, when you were an actor? How do you use that in your life on a daily basis?
Now, one of the things that I discovered in my career and in my life is that the human mind works off of story. The human mind itself actually is a storytelling machine. That, when you look at a situation and somebody does something to you and you experience something, there's the experience, but then your mind makes a story and tells you a story. Oh, that person did that because they don't like me and they don't think I'm attractive, and that's why. So the mind wants to tell and consume stories. So I found, very young, that was like a natural thing for me. I always knew how much people love a good story. And so as a businessman, when I'm starting meetings, it's always about a story. Like, start with, let me tell you a story. And to be able to share a story, to me, is the fastest way to someone's heart.
Yeah. Success. You had a lot of success, as we said, in different areas. How did you prepare yourself? Because success can detour people from their path. How did you set your mindset so you could keep going with humbleness, and how was that for you?
You know, for me, you know, I've been beyond my dreams for a long time. Like my life turned into something that I never dreamed and I never imagined. And what I found is the definition of success kept changing, right? So I started with one idea of success. Man, if I could just have a hit record. If I had a hit record, I would be the happiest person in the world. Then I got a hit record, and I was like, oh, well, you know, if I had a TV show, if I was on a TV show, if I could have a TV show. And what I found is, for me, success was always like a carrot on a stick, that you get it, and then all of a sudden you want another thing. And I was starting to realize I had to define success differently for myself if I ever wanted to be happy. Success and happiness are two totally different things.
Agree. Yep.
You know, so I started having to find a way. How can I enjoy the period before getting to the goal? And I used to really make myself miserable in the process of reaching the goal, and then I would get there, and then so I had to develop the ability to be able to enjoy it even when it isn't exactly what I hoped it would be.
That makes total sense. We are in the business of long-term achievements, right? You can't help a client from one day to another. You have to have resilience. And an advisor, he's always gonna be in front of big challenges. He's gonna get some no's before he constructs his client base. And people just think you just have to dream big and things will happen. But there's the process, right? You have to be resilient. You have to do it again. You have to like it, right? Yeah. So we always tell people that you can't be an advisor if you don't like people. Yeah. I think you agree with that, right?
It's you know, that's been one of the things for me. I love people. I love interacting with people. I love hearing people's stories and experiences. And for the most part, you have to be mostly in a place that you enjoy doing it. It's really hard to be great at something that you don't enjoy some part of it. You know, sometimes you gotta grind, you gotta, there's hard days and things like that. But for the most part, it's very difficult to be successful if you don't love it.
Yeah, totally agree. And that gave me a hook for the next question, right? So what do you think about talent? Is that something that you are born with, or is there a way of, is there a mindset that you can always learn something, you can always excel in something? How is that for you?
I think everybody has natural talent. So there are things you were born with. You know, some people just understand math, like you just get it. You know, when I looked at my own kids, you know, my daughter was always an avid reader. So she could pick up something and would read a book from cover to cover, but she wasn't good mathematically. Her mind just didn't naturally take to numbers. But the idea of having a talent is different from cultivating a skill, right? So I've never thought of myself as wildly talented. I thought of myself as just a serious, disciplined, hard worker. I can craft a skill around a talent in a way that I don't mind suffering to cultivate a skill around a talent. I look at people all the time that I think are more talented than me, but it's very few people that will outwork me.
You were telling me that goals help you with that, right? They stretch you in very difficult goals, and you have to embrace the difficulty of the process. And that reminds of us of our own story, right? So Ben Shimal, he's here somewhere in the crowd. He found this company. He had no idea. He says it's a miracle we're here today, right? So when we got to 100 billion reais under management, he set the new goal of 1 trillion reais. And all the company was like, this guy's crazy. There's no way we can get there. And today we have almost 2 trillion under management. So nothing comes easy, but you have to like the process. And setting goals that stretch you, of course, helps with the process, right?
And you know, one of my experiences, I think the most important aspect of any dream, any goal, any business you want to build is that first person that you choose to work with. That first person you partner with is going to make it or break it, you know? And making a bad choice of a partner can ruin everything, you know? So, you know, I'm here with people that I've been with for 30 and 40 years. And I have spectacular friends. And to me, that is one of the most critical aspects. When you see someone who is successful, there will almost always be a really quiet person beside them that is that great friend, that great partner. That first choice is everything.
They always remember you where you came from and keep your feet on the ground. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, one of my first partners was DJ Jazzy Jeff in music.
Yeah.
And then I partnered with, you know, Alfonso Ribeiro, who played Carlton on the Fresh Prince. Yeah. I've always had really great people beside me.
I really like to see him in the documentary you did where you try to lose weight.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He was very good in the documentary. That must have been really hard, right? To write a book with your family, helping you. Wow, that was a big challenge.
That's another thing I would say to everybody. One of the greatest experiences I had in my life was writing my story. And I think that everybody, whether you put it out or not, write your life story. Just write it for your kids. Write it to leave it to your family. When you have to think about the words to describe your mother, when you have to think about that first day that you started your business, and you have to pick the words to describe how you felt, like writing your story is such a powerful way to understand yourself, to understand your family, to understand your experience. I would encourage everybody to write the story of your life. It's life-changing.
I don't know if I can do that, but who knows, I can try someday, right? So a question that a lot of people want to know the answer here, right? So you inspired a lot of us with your movies. A lot of people grew up seeing your movies. I'm a personal fan of Men in Black. I love Pursuit of Happiness. Which one?
Soy Leyenda.
Yeah, that's very good. I'm the legend. So which one connects with you? Which character in those movies connect most with you, and why?
You know, I've connected to different characters for different reasons, but the movie that people walk up to me on the street and thank me for and want to talk about is The Pursuit of Happiness. More than, 5 times more than anything I've ever done. People walk up and say, yeah. It's like the pursuit of happiness is, if you're a parent, the pursuit of happiness is your worst nightmare, But at the same time, Chris Gardner, the way that he was able to handle that adversity and to achieve his dream that nobody believed in but him. I think The Pursuit of Happiness is a film. It just speaks to the power of the human spirit, and we all wish that we would be as strong as Chris Gardner in those circumstances.
That is an amazing story. I was telling you, I just watched it yesterday. I don't have kids, but I cried as well at the end. I mean, a lot of people here resonate with the career of a broker-dealer as in the movie. A lot of people here struggle with the cold calls and with the frustration of not being able to, get the short-term results they expect. And Chris Gardner is an incredible story. He's been with us here twice as well in this event. And so really like that you like that story as well, right? So
Yeah, he's magnificent.
yeah. So Will, you've done a lot of things in your career, but you also seem to love new experiences, right? So in pole to pole, went from Antarctica. By the way, you met a Brazilian, three Brazilians lost in Antarctica.
Yes, Ator is a Brazilian scientist in the middle of the South Pole. And, he sacrifices 4 months of his life every year for like the last 3 decades studying climate change. So if there becomes a solution to climate change, we will have a Brazilian scientist to thank for it.
Yeah. We normally don't recognize Brazilian scientists. But that show is really, really fun because you do a lot of things in a short period of time, traveling the world. So how was that? How do you go about, experiencing new things, jumping from helicopters and getting to know dangerous spiders and snakes? How do you do that?
When I was a little boy, I was terrified of everything. Like, I have always been really scared of life and scared of people. And I grew up in a kind of a violent environment, and I learned really young that fear stops everything. Like, fear, it's hard to be successful if you're scared. And learning how to lean into fear has been a major thing for me. I've always wanted to overcome just the terror, every time, even, walking out on stage, my heart still jumps, So it's like learning how to move through fear has been very important for me. And when I turned 50, I told myself I was going to do everything that I was scared of, that I was going to live in the heart of whatever I was scared of. And one of the things that I learned is the big thing that fear blocks is love. Like, if you're scared, you cannot be successful in a love relationship. That in order to love people, it demands a vulnerability that is difficult to impossible. So, I'm 57 years old now, and as I'm trying to go into this next phase of my life, I don't want to be scared to make a mistake. I don't want to be scared that, people are not going to like me anymore. And I've just been leaning into the horror of what it means to love. And it's the entire focus of this next phase of my life.
If you got scared getting here, imagine me, huh?
Yeah.
You're used to this.
Yeah.
So you were a hero to a lot of people, to a lot of us. What does that mean to you? Does the concept of being a hero in the past the same today? And how do you see that?
Yeah, for me, the most important thing is that my life has value to others. When I was younger, I wanted to be famous. I wanted people to clap, you know. I wanted people to think I was cool. But today, I want people to think that my experiences are valuable to them. And I guess I would say the first part of my life was collecting things. And now this second half of my life is going to be trying to give it back. I want people to be able to get something from my experiences. I want to share openly. I want to share honestly. And again, I'll say like the pursuit of happiness was the height of what I want to be in this world, that I created something that is helpful to people. And that's what I want to do with my life.
You still have contact with him? You still get to spend time with Chris Gardner sometimes?
Yeah, we talk. Yeah? We usually on his birthday. I call him always on his birthday. But Chris Gardner is, he's an amazing example of resilience and discipline and the willingness to look adversity right in the eyes and keep going.
Is there any specific movie that you can share that was more difficult for you for somehow? A bigger challenge that you're used to was?
I would say the hardest film I've ever done was Ali. I had to learn how to fight. I had to learn how to do a dialect. We were shooting in Africa. It was an extremely difficult film to make. But part of the beauty of being an actor, what's magnificent, is you get to try other people's lives on. You get to try on the reality of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali gave up the prime years of his career. He gave up the prime years, his prime earning years, for other people to be able to have religious freedom. That it was so important to him that they call him by his name, that he was willing to give up everything for the right to worship his God the way that he wanted. So for me in that scenario, to put that on and to ask myself, would I really have been strong enough to make the decision that Ali made in that scenario? And I'm pretty sure no. I would have wanted to, but he was a truly unique human being that understood the importance of making a stand, not just for himself, but for everybody.
That's really nice. You are also a successful businessman, right? You've produced a lot of successful movies as well. So you have to take a lot of decisions in certain contexts and certain moments. How do you go about, making decisions on uncertainty contexts?
That has really changed for me as I've gotten older. For me, 20 years ago, I made decisions. Is what we're doing going to be the best on earth? Are we creating a film? Are we creating a working environment? Is the thing that we're doing going to be the best on earth? I believe in wonder and awe, that when you make something magnificent, it changes people's minds. It changes people's hearts. And as I've gotten older, I've made a slight shift from product to people. So I've started paying attention in the process to people. And a business is really about people more than it's about product. You'll get great product if people feel taken care of, you know. And we were just talking in the back, and you know, one of the things I like to do in these kind of situations is I like everybody to take a second and turn your attention to the people around you. Just notice the people around you. And somebody just lost a loved one. Somebody lost somebody they love. Somebody's going through a divorce. Somebody's business just crashed and they lost their job, right? Notice the people around you. Everybody is having a hard time. Every single person is having a hard time. And I started just tuning in to notice that the difficulties that people are having are the reasons why people succeed or don't succeed in situations. And you can either be the person that pulls somebody back from the edge, or you can be the person that pushes somebody over the edge. And I'm just at the phase in my life where I'm paying attention to be the person that pulls people back from the edge. And balancing product and people is what this next phase of my life and my career and my business endeavors is going to be.
That resonates with a lot of people here because we are a people business as well, right? So advisors, if they really want to connect with their clients, they have to have the empathy. Advisors have to be engaged and happy in their companies as well. Otherwise, it's impossible to really connect with the clients, right? So can you share us a little bit more? How do you do that? I mean, how do you pull people from the edge? What is your strategy? What is your method to really focus on people to get great results?
I heard a really, really great thing that we started doing at our company, and I think it could be helpful. You start a meeting and you say red, yellow, or green. And you go around the table and see what mood people are in. Are you green? Are you good and ready to go? Are you yellow where you had a bad morning, but you're good and you're ready for the meeting? Or are you red and as soon as somebody says something, you're gonna go off the deep end? And we do that in the meeting, red, yellow, green, and go around, and it changes the whole mood. When somebody says red and everybody kind of opens, and you realize maybe this is not the moment to bring up the thing you were going to bring up with that person. We're going to wait till they have a green day to bring it up. But I think try the red, yellow, green, and it opens people up in a way that's really unique and helpful to keep the energy positive in those meeting scenarios.
This is a good tip, huh? We can use in our businesses. So Will, looking forward, you said you want to connect more with, you know, the part of the side of your businesses that have people working with you, people you like working with you. What can we expect of next endeavors from Will Smith? What do you see to the future?
You know, I'm really excited about this next phase. I've got in the film world I'm working, but there's also, you know, we have 2 or 3 other things that are coming up. There's we have hospitality things we're interested in. We have you know, my son Jaden started the water company. You know, getting rid of the plastic bottles. We're gonna, we're not gonna do. It's okay for now, but we're gonna, So Jaden started a water company, Just Water. He started a while ago, so we're working on that, and we have Hollywood has changed a lot, so we're looking at what the new configurations are. But I'm excited. Quite a few things that you bring me back next year, and I'll have some results for you.
We're anxious to hear from that. So if you want to invest in Brazil, we have some bankers here that can
Yes, I love that.
help you with that. So we're open for conversations in that sense. So what was constant in your history, right? You always had a mindset of success. You were telling me that big goals, right? Loving the process, working with the right people. When did you have to adapt, right? When did you had some difficulty and you wanted to keep going? How did you adapt yourself to time to keep that success going on?
The nature of my career was I've lived in adaptation. So I started in music, and then I had to make the adaptation into television, and then from television into film, and then from film into entrepreneurship. And I would say the two things that were really helpful for me, number one, I always begin a thing like I haven't done anything prior, right? So when I went from music to television, I didn't try to carry my music success into television. Nope, all the way back to the beginning. I am a brand new actor, and to just humble myself enough to start at the beginning, like that beginner's mind, and lose the ego of having been, I was a Grammy award-winning musician when I went into the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I was nothing as an actor. So all the way back to the beginning mindset. So beginning mind was really helpful for me. And I would say probably the most important thing is I don't mind when it's hard. I actually like it a little bit when it's hard. Like, don't need it to be easy, right? It's like the nature of creating something and manifesting is difficulty, adversity, obstacles. And I always found myself comfortable having to dig in, comfortable having to find that grit. I've always been comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's been the thing, which came in very handy in the last couple years of my life.
It looks like you put yourself in uncomfortable places on purpose, right? So you can
yes, exactly,
probably learn more and expand your mind and do that kind of things. Yeah. Well, we are cheering a lot for your next steps. We are cheering that everything you want to do has a lot of success. But how do you want to be seen? I mean, in 10, 20 years, how do you think you will be happy to be remembered by your fans, by the crowd that's always been together with you?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't think too much about legacy. At this point in my life, I'm really finding myself attentive to right now. What do I do right now? What are we sharing? How are we interacting? How is my attention and intention in this room right now? And if I make a great enough right now, if I make right now great, I trust that it will add up to something wonderful down the line. But my current experience is there is so much happening right now in this room with everybody in here, and I just find myself not thinking about tomorrow or 10 years from now or 20 years from now at all? Like, can I connect? What can I discover? Who can I meet right in this moment?
That's something very difficult for most people to do, right? Yeah. We are always thinking about the next goal. We always think about the next step. We forget about the people around us. We forget about the present moment. So that's also very helpful for us to use in our businesses on a daily basis. We're going to the end of this conversation, unfortunately. I think this is the highest crowd we ever had in this event. This is a 60.
Oh, really? Well, hold on. We have to take a picture then. You have your phone with you? We need a camera. Yeah, your phone?
But I still have a last
Let's make a
question for you,
video.
okay?
Let's make a video. Put it on video. Yeah. Put it on video. We have to get a video. All right, you there? You got it there. Okay, hold on. Flip it around. All right, here we go. Here, stand up with me. Everybody's ready. Here we go. Let's get the video. Hey! Hey! All right, send that to the news. Put that on the news.
I'll do it.
Actually, yeah, you have to send that to me. I'll put that on my social. I'm gonna put that on my social.
I'll send it to you, yeah, for sure. So I think this is the biggest event we ever had, about 60,000 people here wanting to learn about helping clients to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you to leave a message for this crowd.
Yep.
They came here very anxious to listen to your words. So what message could you leave for them so they can go and use in their daily basis lives?
I think the constant reminder that the work that we do is about people. We can get so lost in trying to achieve something, so lost in the product and producing and quarterly results that we forget that we're sitting across from people. And if you connect with a person, if a person feels that you actually are paying attention and you actually care what's going on, right? So as we sit here, I care that you feel good about the interview. And I'm keeping my mind on, I want this to be a positive experience for you. I want this to be a positive experience for everybody in this crowd. And if we can keep the attention on what's going on in the lives of the people around us, success follows that. When people feel good and people trust you and people know you're paying attention to what's going on with them, it opens up everything. It opens up their hearts, it opens up their mind, it opens up their wallet. They want you to have it when they feel that you legitimately have concern. So if there's one thing I would say, it's about people, people, people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for helping me do this interview. You
Yes,
make
absolutely.
it easier. Will, so we have a little surprise for the end of this interview.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to invite him in English so you can follow up with us. So please join us welcoming one of Brazil's greatest contemporary artists, one of the world's most celebrated names in urban art, Eduardo Cobra.
Cobra!
A little surprise for us.
Cobra! Yes, that's magnificent. Oh, wow. Obrigado, obrigado.
A sua trajetória brilhante me inspirou a criar essa pintura para você.
Your career, your history, brilliant history, helped him create this art for you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, thank you. Here, let's get a shot. Get a shot with it. Get a shot. Yeah.
O meu sonho é poder transformar essa tela agora num mural, num prédio, quem sabe em algum lugar do mundo.
You know, here in São Paulo, he has a lot of buildings with his paintings. He said his dream is to paint you in one of Brazilian's big buildings.
Yes, I love that. Yes, obrigado.
Muito bem.
Yeah. It's going to be really hard when I show up to the airport with this.
I was going to tell you that. Good luck with taking that too.
Yeah. The guy, it's from Cobra. I got to take it on the plane. This is not going to fit in the overhead compartment. Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Thank you, brother.
Sabe, Will, eu também comecei aos 12 anos, dentro da cultura hip hop. Eu representei você aqui como o pequeno Fresh Prince, certo?
He said he also began his life with hip hop when he was 12 years. So he put here an image that inspires him a lot. And yeah.
It is amazing. Thank you, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cobra! Cobra! Beautiful. Love that.
So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
I
Thank
hope
you so
enjoy
much.
your next days in Brazil.
It's magnificent.
And
Thank you all very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.